While there are exactly 0 bad episodes of Firefly in its astonishing 14-episode run, there are, of course, a handful that I would describe as, just pretty alright. Safe is our first real glimpse into the backstory of the Tams and the events leading up to Simon's rescue of his sister. It's an interesting episode with a handful of moments that make me smile and the usual bevy of satisfying Firefly one-liners.
Human body can be drained of blood in 8.6 seconds given adequate vacuuming systems.
See, morbid and creepifying, I got no problem with.
It's just also an episode of the show that I tend to forget about between runs. That's all. It happens.
This isn't the last time. Last time with cows.
We open on a flashback to the Tam household, featuring a severely ADR'd River and a seriously unjacked Simon Efron. Yoked Simon is my favorite Simon. Simon asks his dad for a better device to write his essays on, and his dad says that if Simon had just any source box he wanted, which is presumably Firefly for internet-connected device, Simon could listen to any random and harmful unfiltered message from the verse he wanted to. In the present, River no longer wants to tell Simon the things she sees when she closes her eyes. Mal requests that Simon keep River under control for the sake of their cargo.
You ever see cattle stampede when they got no place to run? It's kind of like a meat grinder.
Serenity lands on the colony of Zhang Yin, and some colonists see Serenity landing in a cute little bit of world building I really enjoy.
Fancy vessels such as that don't land here unless they got something to sell.
Remember the strawberries that Book used to partially buy his passage with, making the giant bowl of them commentary on the opulence and shindig? Well, any world that considers a Firefly fancy has probably had it pretty rough. The gang sets up the cow deal, while River continues making vaguified referentials to the themes of the show.
They weren't cows inside. They were waiting to be, but they forgot. Now they see sky and they remember what they are.
Something identity from freedom something.
Is it bad that what she said makes perfect sense to me?
Mal sends everyone on a field trip so he can get to the clandestine dealings. I love the dusty rundown feel of the local general store. It's a hodgepodge shop you might find at a dozen exits along a highway through some landlocked state. Feels nice and authentic here, a great bit of set decoration. And Kaylee's expression of how fancy things are works as a nice piece of character building, the same way the men being impressed with Serenity did. Simon puts his foot in his mouth with Kaylee as Inara, who, unlike Simon, can walk between the different worlds of class easily, watches him learn his lesson. River wanders off, Simon finds her at a town dance, and in a scene that always puts a big smile on my face, joyfully and freely engages in the dance herself. It's a loose parallel of Mal's dance with Danger, Mal doing what he does. The deal doesn't go smooth, and Book pays the price. The rabbit hunters grab Simon and River, and Mal heads to an Alliance ship to save Book.
What are you doing? What about Simon and River?
Forget them.
No, don't like that.
I'm going to momentarily derail the summary section of this video in order to harp on what might seem nitpicky, but it's because much of the sense of jeopardy in this episode hinges on this device, which I kind of hate. All Mal had to say to Kaylee was, "We'll come back." But the line isn't there, so we can build tension for Simon and River's plight, with the two of them and us, the audience, thinking Mal might have abandoned them. But the complete inclusion of this entire scene makes Mal's wording feel bizarre, unnecessarily misleading, and even a little character-breaking. Why wouldn't he say to Kaylee, "We'll come right back"? Even if the metaphorical, hypermasculine id side of Mal did temporarily revel in the Tams leaving, why would he phrase this so poorly and cruelly, especially to Kaylee? It also feels contradictory because he so matter-of-factly says to Simon later in the episode,
Why did you come back for us?
You're on my crew.
I can only make up reasons. Maybe, given Jayne's metaphorical relationship to him, Mal was internally conflicted about whether he would come back or not. Maybe he didn't feel the need to explain his orders. But the net result of his omission of 3 words is Mal either looks like a terrible captain, or the writing feels a little cheap and manipulative. This same tension-escalating device was already in Bushwhacked, except there it's accomplished with a cut.
Now go run fetch your sister.
What? Why, are you gonna put her in plain sight too? Is that why you let us stay? So you could use us as bargaining chips?
Knew there was a reason.
After a line or two, then the scene cuts so the audience doesn't see what Mal's actual plan for the Tams is, which makes for an exciting reveal later in the sequence, and also avoids Mal having to utter a cryptic, out-of-character line in order to fool the audience.
Forget them.
Applying the simple fix of the cut, Book gets shot, the crew debates what to do, Mal says, "I've got an idea," cut to River and Simon watching the ship fly away, Bob's your uncle. Anything could have happened after the shot cut that we didn't get to see. Since we didn't, we can simply feel Simon's pain when the rabbit men taunt him about his abandonment. Anyway, everyone thinks Mal abandoned the Thames, including Jayne, who decides to rob them, and at this point the episode becomes a little plotty. Small town without hope and freedom leans on paranoia and myth instead, which doesn't go well when one of them sees that River has some powers. There's some interesting structural parody in these two sequences relating to the title. Mal and crew go to an unsafe place, but Book, a religious man, has a secret identity that saves them. Whatever that identity is should make for an interesting reveal later in the series. Simon and River are told where they're going is safe before the Hill people use the pretense of religion to attack River because of her secret identity. And the episode ends with Simon clutching at River about to be burned at the stake before the crew rolls in like big damn heroes.
Ain't we just?
The writer of this one, Drew Greenberg, wrote several episodes of Buffy, including Entropy, Him, and Empty Places, and Smashed, which I quite like. Safe is a good episode. Solid. As with any Firefly episode, nearly every scene is charged with wonderful little character bits. Too much to cover in a short video. I particularly love Zoe's way of being reassuring when Book asks where the doctor is.
We don't make him hurry for the little stuff.
Or Jayne hastily giving the Tams back all their stuff. Or Mal's counter to the murdering town patron.
Girl is a witch. Yeah, but she's our witch.
And yet, parts of Safe feel either off or curiously flat to me, especially due to the inevitable and unenviable comparison to the rest of the series. I think the problem lies with the fact that the episode has enough ideas to power an entire show, but never really bakes any single one of those ingredients into a satisfying meal. Concepts just feel included, and without ever being fully developed, never quite elevate Safe beyond a gentle little adventure of the week type tale, even down to the name of the colony in the episode. Apologies for butchering the Mandarin, but Zhang Yin is an actual city in China whose name means river shade. So that's clearly not an accident. And yet, what is the thematic takeaway? River's mind is in shade? River casts shade on Simon's life? There's also a whiff of commentary on propaganda and thought policing. Even when the Tams were children, the Alliance was at war with the Independents, and Simon's father Gabriel resists getting Simon a new source box because of all the unfiltered propaganda he would be able to hear. Gabriel eventually relents, and I think we're intended to read Simon's patriarchal rebellion later in the episode, as well as his plea to the townspeople, as being the result of his exposure to a wider spectrum of free thought.
If she dies tonight, it won't be God's will that killed her. It'll be you. Your lunacy, your ignorance.
There are also a handful of connections made between people and animals. Mal tries to impress upon Simon the gravity of River potentially spooking and making the cattle panic.
You ever see cattle stampede when they got no place to run? It's kind of like a meat grinder.
River then links people to animals with her theme coo shortly after.
They weren't cows inside. They were waiting to be, but they forgot. Now they see sky and they remember what they are.
And in the end of the episode, we see the trapped on the planet spooked human version of the behavior Mal warned Simon of. I like the metaphor. It's just that, again, I'm not sure what the episode wants us to make of it. River shouldn't talk. People aren't much better than cows. But Simon says it's the Hill people's ignorance driving them, so if we educated cows in math and science, would they not spook? Maybe the theme is something patriarchy and religion something? I know. It's rich insights like those that are the reason why you come to this channel. It's just that the episode doesn't bother to complete the idea, making things feel a little messy. Of course, I'm always up for that I might have just missed what the episode was doing thematically or with all of these pieces. The rest of the good stuff here centers around River and Simon. Sean Maher and Summer Glau had notoriously good chemistry, and it is fully on display here in all their scenes, with a gentle, familial intimacy between them that is lovely. Simon of Serenity continues the broad strokes of his character arc, including gradual change in his clothing, reflecting his becoming more a part of Serenity.
About time you broke in them pretty shoes.
His giving up everything for his sister.
Light it.
And his getting punched in the face on a regular basis. And many of the details from Simon's elegant speech in The Mess from Serenity.
River was more than gifted. She She was a gift.
are on display here, including River's gift of step. And my favorite moment in the episode, other than that one, is River's clearest expression of self-awareness and empathy yet.
I took you away from there. I know I did. I get confused. But I understand.
Alright, so as much as I prefer not to spoil, at this point it seems unlikely that River is just having regular coincidental freakouts to significant parallel events on the ship. From her reactions to things... From her reactions to things occurring in scenes she isn't in, to now being able to communicate with a mute or reading the mind of the patron, I think that...
This girl reads minds and spins falsehoods.
No. I think this episode makes the fact that River has been demonstrating clairvoyant abilities of some kind explicit, as when she tells Simon...
Time to go.
Seconds later, Serenity flies overhead. The cold opening juxtaposes a flashback of young River sharing a dream she had with her brother to River in current times not wanting to look inward anymore. The proximity of the two scenes suggests that maybe there was more than just dreams in the things Child River was saying.
We got outflanked by the independent squad, and we're never gonna make it back to our platoon. We need to resort to cannibalism.
Sounds to me like she's loosely describing the Reavers here. And then there was...
How'd the independents cut us off?
They were using dinosaurs.
Now die! Oh, no, God!
In her conversation with the Tams, Dora Lee... Dora in its original Greek full form meaning God's gift, and Lee meaning home or shelter, gives us her take on what home is.
You were on a transport ship, right? Taking a journey? It's the way of life in my findings that journeys end when and where they want to, and that's where you make your home. A place like this might be good for your sister. Quiet, safe.
Now that's one of those aphoristic bits of folksy nonsense that initially sounds wise and comforting for being so folksy, but falls apart with any scrutiny.
What would Uncle do? Zuko, you have to look within yourself to save yourself from your other self. Only then will your true self reveal itself.
Her qualifications for home, quiet and safe, are significant given that it's the only time the title of this episode makes an appearance in it, and she suggests that home is found at the end of a journey. For that safety and quiet, the Tams have had to give up their freedom of choice.
This isn't our home.
If Firefly the series can be read as an exploration of what makes a home, Safe's place in that examination might be to ask, what importance does family hold in that idea? Two of the episode's 3 examples of family fit Dora Lee's description. The first are the Tams, safely surrounded by their electric fence. But the cost of that safety is obedience to Gabriel, who demands that Simon give up his sister in order to maintain his protection and status, or risk medical school and his entire career.
You end up here, or get mixed up in something worse. You're on your own.
The Village of Hill people are a similar kind of family, one with their own patron Gabriel.
This girl reads...
Yeah, we get it. And River points out the last example of family with a line that Simon dismisses as river talk.
We won't be here long. Daddy will come and take us home.
The meaning of this line is masked by the episode's flashbacks, but knowing what we know about her abilities...
Time to go.
It's very likely that she's talking about Mal coming to save them, not Gabriel Tam. And in a nice bit of parody, the episode opens with a shot of the Tam's family home, safe inside its walls, and closes with a lovely moving shot of the Chosen family on Serenity. Now, the difference between this and the rest is individual authenticity, something they were always being asked to trade away from others. Life on board Serenity is neither quiet, safe, nor simple, but it is the one each of them have chosen freely. Simon's life could have had more simplicity and more of the trappings of success were it not for River, but it would have been in exchange for his integrity, so he came and found her.
Life would look to be simpler, us not carrying Fugees.
Yeah. Simpler.
As Mal comes for River and Simon, not because of blood or codependence or anything like that, but because...
You're on my crew. Why are we still talking about this?
Because they're family. Not family hunkering down together at the end of their journey, but family empowering each other during the voyage. Because no destination is worth arriving at if we lose ourselves along the way. Or, to put it another way...
So, how come you don't care where you're going?
Because how you get there is the worthier part.